All right. Back by popular demand. Back by popular demand. Okay. I am, this is another one, another video by Best Version Motivation. Request. Best Version Motivation. This is a request. And you guys know how much I love this stuff. So I'm just going to come back on here and just talk about it. And I'm going to do it. I want you guys to see, and this is the very reason why I'm coming back. What's up, C? The reason why I'm coming back this way, so you guys can see how easy it is for me to see through people if they're speaking debt or if they're speaking debt free. Now, the videos I criticize, I'm not talking about the person. I'm not trying to defame them in any way. I'm not trying to put their business down. I'm not saying that they're doing anything illegal. I'm not saying that they're stupid. I'm not saying anything. The only thing I want you guys to focus in on is this. Hey, I'm going to do that video, Best Version. I'm going to do that right now. I saw it just now, and I'm going to do it in a different style so you guys can know, okay? I'm not putting them down in any way. I'm not trying. The only thing I'm pointing out is things that don't make mathematical sense. That's the only thing I'm pointing out to you guys. So try not to involve your feelings. If you're a fan of this guy, don't think I'm putting him down and don't start getting mad. All I want you to do is follow the math, okay? If my math is right, you stick with it, okay? All right. Again, those of you, yeah, I'm back, OG. I'm back. Best Version sent me he posted a link under the earlier video today. And this is what I'm going to do. I haven't even watched it. I haven't even watched the video yet, okay? So I don't even know what he's going to say. All right, so, but what I'm going to do is let you guys watch it with me so you can understand how I break down what he's saying, okay? I didn't have no practice. I don't really need any practice. I'm just going to be listening for things that don't make mathematical sense. And if he says right things, the correct things, I'm going to tell you guys, he says the right things. Okay. I'm going to say that to you so you can understand that I'm not just out to just like slice people apart. I'm not. I just want to make sure you guys understand things that don't make mathematical sense. Because remember, math and money are one. If math didn't exist, there'd be no way to count money. Okay. See what I'm saying? That's how tight it is. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it doesn't make financial sense either. So let me get this up. Okay. And mind you, I'm not gonna be ignoring you guys, but I won't be able to see the chat because I'm gonna be watching the video, but I'm gonna stop it every now and then, okay? Now, this guy's channel is Will Roundtree. Okay, Will Roundtree. All right, let me put this over here because I want to be able to see you guys if you guys are there. All right, so I'm going to play it now. All right, here we go.
All right, peace, family. Give everybody a few minutes to hop on. Make sure you're liking and sharing the video. For everyone who's following and watching this live on IG, I'm actually filming this for my new YouTube channel, so you'll see me looking directly at this camera. But
I'm gonna fast forward to some parts, so we don't, because he's just talking to his audience.
Definitely make sure you do so. I always say that what separates the successful.
Okay, let me go back.
Fundamentals of in rebuilding your credit.
Sorry,
teenage kids to
Sorry,
Morrison Academy. The author of the book, Credit is King. If you have not picked up your copy of the book, definitely make sure you do so. I mean, we literally get testimonials every single day. People reaching out to us stating that not only has the book given them information, they've given it to their teenage kids to properly equip.
Okay, come on.
Fundamentals of business credit. I always say that what separates the successful from unsuccessful is information. So, you know, if you're trying to program your mind with new information, you definitely want to pick up that book. But one of the things I always
now to remind you guys, this is 30 minutes, so you guys are just going to be watching this video with me, and if he says something that doesn't make mathematical sense, I'm gonna stop it and tell you guys. Okay, here we go.
like to talk about, I'm very passionate about, is credit, for a couple of different reasons. One, because I know what it's done for me personally, my family, my friends. I mean, it's literally changed, the entire way I view life. It's changed the entire trajectory of my life. It's put us in a position to where now we've been able to travel the country and give people this information for free. Not only that, credit has helped me build, a multi-million-dollar company in 3 years with the tutelage of multiple mentors. Definitely a huge shout out to my mentor, my brother, my partner, Jay Morrison. I've had many mentors along.
I'm gonna fast forward to some stuff.
But more importantly, that we've always been taught to look at credit from the lens of a consumer as opposed to a business person. And so for all my entrepreneurs and business owners and up and coming entrepreneurs and business owners, seasoned and experienced business owners, they understand your credit is the lifeline to your business. And understanding that, or once you've understood that, you start to gauge and look at credit from a different lens. And that's really the thing that I want to show people and why I'm so passionate about providing this information.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna fast forward this, guys.
A lot of great content in the next week or so. Help them get a student loan. Like I always mention, for those who have kids and children that are still in school, your credit indirectly can dictate what school zone your kids go to school in. So it's just so much more that credit provides and brings to us. Auto insurance, your credit scores, and your premium score.
Sorry, guys.
There's such a taboo about talking about credit, about our personal credit and our personal finances and different things like that we need to, first of all, we need to release those shackles of pridefulness. We need to release those shackles of being ashamed, because
I want you guys, so far he's making a lot of sense right now. Okay, he's not saying everything he's saying. Best version, he's talking about business credit, so he's preaching about credit, but he's not saying anything wrong about credit. Yes, credit is part of life, okay, but there's a certain way you use it, consumer side or business side. So far he sounds like he's talking about using credit as far as business side. Okay,
someone can't help you if you're not letting them know that you are in need of the help. Seek out the information, seek out the knowledge, seek after mentorship, which, I was fortunate enough to be, in the presence of a mentor who ended up away until 2018 today. He said, "Will, eventually credit is going to become the new dollar." Of course, I didn't.
So I'm gonna fast forward a lot of
credit, how to improve it. And, it actually took me about 2 years to personally improve my own personal credit situation. You might as well invest a little bit of money, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of time, and improve your credit, because credit is the lifeline to your business. And you have
all right, here we go. Now we're getting to the meat.
Position you to look at things and how you do things a little bit differently for all those who are out there trying to restore and rebuild and repair their own personal credit. And so the thing in relation to collection accounts, first of all, for those who don't know what a collection account is, because I have had people ask that question, it's essentially where you have an original creditor. Laura, let's go to. All right. So let's say you have a credit card and you have a $500 limit on that credit card. Okay? Let's just say this is Visa. All right. For whatever reason, you default, meaning usually they send your account to collections after 4 months of missed payments. So after 4 months of missed payments, you have 120-day lates on your credit report. Generally, they'll send that account to a collection agency, meaning a third-party company bought this debt for pennies on a dollar. And usually they bought it for about 5 to 10 cents on the dollar, sometimes even less than that, because they bought a portfolio of debt, meaning there's hundreds of accounts of people who owe this particular credit card company. So your particular account just so happened was in that portfolio. So this account goes to collections. Now, same thing with charge-off accounts. Essentially what a charge-off is you have where the company has written the debt off on their taxes. And this is common with some credit card companies, depending on who the bank is. And then,
so for you guys to understand, everything he's saying is true, okay? Everything he's saying is exactly correct. All right. So there's no mathematical disputation here. He's just telling you guys what is and what happens when things go to collections.
Also, when you have a vehicle that gets or may get repossessed, meaning you owe, let's say, $15,000 on a vehicle, you turn it in or they come and repossess it or whatever the case is. What happens is that vehicle then goes to auction and it may sell for $10,000. So they may have it's still a $5,000 gap. What may have happened is that they wrote this amount off on their taxes. So now you have a charged off account. Okay. Now, charge off collections, it all encompasses the same thing. It all is going to affect your credit profile in the same fashion. And one collection account, one charge off account can drop a credit score anywhere from 50 to 100 points easily.
Now, for those of you guys that are listening, the only thing I can't tell is if he's talking about personal credit or business credit. Right now, he's talking about charge-offs, credit card collections, Right now, he's talking about personal credit. Okay. Earlier, he was mixing business credit and personal credit. He's talking about personal credit right now. I want you guys to understand the distinct difference. Okay.
Whether that collection account is for $1 or $100,000, it's going to impact you the exact same way, because what happens is that the credit report doesn't read the dollar amount. Now, of course, you have your debt to income ratio, which can make it lopsided. But overall, what it does is it reads it being a collection account. It reads it being a charge-off, and that's how it's going to impact you from a credit score standpoint. Now, also, with that being said, I get people say, well, how do you get a collection account for $1? You'd be very surprised. There are companies out there where if, let's say, you wrote a check for a bill and you're $1 off, they will send you to collections for that $1, because everything that they do is all computer generated. So only thing that happened was their computer read that you were $1 short, and they sent you to collections. So
no, it's not nicer.
You always want to make sure, because I see this happen a lot too, is people are scared to open their mail. You can't be scared to open your mail, because $1 debt can drastically impact our credit scores. And of course, we want to mitigate and minimize these type of scenarios as much as possible. So now getting to the meat and potatoes, why don't we want to pay off our collection accounts? So I'll give you an example. So let's say you have a credit profile and you have a collection account that is 5 years old. Okay. And that same Visa card, that's $500. Now, first of all debt has what's called a statute of limitations. Essentially, the statute of limitations being the time period that they can come and actually sue you for that debt. Now, most states all states have different statute of limitations. I recommend, and you can actually just go to Google and type in, statute of limitations for Las Vegas for credit card debt, statute of limitations for, Chicago, statute of limitations for Atlanta. And it will actually give you the time period that company has to sue you. Now, the statute of limitations does not mean how long it stays on a report. I want to preference that, because a lot of people think that's what the case is. The statute of limitations essentially is the time frame they have to sue you for that debt. So if you have a collection account on your report that's 5 years old from the last date of activity, the last date of activity means the last time they received a payment for this account. So if the last date of activity was 5 years ago, it is now outside the statute of limitations, so they cannot sue you for this debt. Now, let's say this was with the collection agency for 5 years, and within that 5-year time period, 2.5.
First of all, you guys, never, ever, ever, ever let anything, never owe anybody in the world, in the entire world for 5 years. Never, ever let yourself do that, okay? Not saying he's just explaining what is, but I'm telling you guys, don't ever do that. Don't ever end up in this situation that he's talking about, ever.
Half years in, you felt bad and you felt morally obligated to make some type of payment arrangement to pay this $500 credit card bill. So what happens is you call and you set up a payment arrangement, and you're going to send them, $50 a month.
Okay. First of all, if you got a debt that's been in there 5 years, you don't have to make payment arrangements. You call them up, you save up about $250, maybe even less than that. You call them up and say, hey, I want to settle this debt. They're going to argue with you. You say, I have $250 right now. Do you want to settle this debt? If that debt has been sitting in there for 5 years, they're going to take it. Okay. You get that in writing. When you agree with that money, because if they don't, you say, hey, check it out. If they don't agree with you, go, hey, check it out. When we get off the phone, I'm going to go to the next collector down the list. I'm going to give them this $250 if you don't want it. 9 times out of 10, they're going to take it. Okay, because just like he said earlier, they bought that debt at pennies on the dollar. So they're going to take it, and they're still winning with $250. You get it in writing before you send them a penny. Do not give them access to your banking or checking account. Do not. You put that $250 on a prepaid debit card, and you give them that number. That way, they only can take the exact amount that you agreed upon. And then when you say that, you make sure when this is settled, I want you to report or remove this from my credit report. Either say that it's 0 or totally remove it. I heard you can get them removed, but do that. You don't have to make payment arrangements. Okay, you just settle.
Okay, until you pay this off in full. Now, what essentially happened is that this 5-year clock just reset. Meaning, let's say for whatever reason you default and you stop making payments, and you pay $400 into the $500, but you just say, you know what, I'm tired of paying that. It's not going.
See, now I agree with him. Okay, that's why you don't call and say, let's make some payment arrangement. Because what if something happens during that payment arrangement? He's right. That clock will start all the way over, and guess what? You just started it all over again. Okay, that's basically what it is. Never make payment arrangements. You settle. You make sure you have the money before you call them. Don't just call them and say, hey man, would you guys settle for this? And you don't have the money. Don't do that.
Don't help me anyway, or whatever excuse you come up with. What's going to happen is that this statute of limitations in the clock for that debt actually starts over. So now the last date of activity is a year old. And this company can now come back and collect after you. Plus, it's going to report on your credit report for an additional 7 years. So this information is extremely vital because I see people make these mistakes all the time. And you want to be very careful because keep in mind, all a collection agency is it's a third-party company that purchased debt. And the only way they can recoup their money is to be able to call you and get you to pay that debt. And I mean, literally, I can start a collection agency today. You can start a collection agency today and go out and do the exact same thing. They don't have any jurisdiction to do some of the threatening things that they said they are going to do to you. So it's extremely important you understand how to, tactfully deal with collection agencies, because what you don't know can hurt you. Hence in point, making a payment arrangement and not fulfilling that. Now, another thing is you never settle account. Never settle the collection account. This is why. Going back to the scenario where you have the $500 account that's in
all ears, what?
And a lot of times what they'll do, because they figure, you know what? He hasn't paid this $500 in 5 years. We may not be able to get the full $500, so we'll go ahead and offer them $250 settlement.
Okay.
Now what happens is they'll offer you $250. You're feeling good because you're like, man, I saved some money. I'm able to not have to pay the whole thing. But what essentially is going to happen is they're going to say your account was settled for less than a full balance, and it's going to report on your credit report as a paid collection. And that paid collection still is going to impact your score and ultimately could drop your credit score. And here's why. So going back to the scenario, 5-year-old account, okay, and you took the settlement offer for $250. So what happens is that account being 5 years old, it becomes less impactful on your credit profile and less impactful to your credit score. When you took the settlement offer, what it did is it reported as settled for less than half the balance.
Yeah.
And it's going to show a paid collection account for $0.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, I just spoke upon earlier about.
Come on, man, get to the point.
The collection account is irrelevant as far as it actually dropping your credit score. So the fact that this is going to report like a brand new collection account,
what?
Now it's $0, hence is why it's going to drop your score. Because keep in mind, it's been dormant for 5 years.
Okay. All right. Listen, I have no idea where he's going with this. Okay. I have no idea. I don't know where he's going with this, but this. All right. I don't know. But what I'm going to say is this. The only thing you guys need to recognize is this. Add up all your savings. Add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. Okay. Who cares about the credit score? As long as it's going to zero. All right. If you can call them up and settle that for $250 for half of what you owe, you settle it. You get it to zero. You want it to report on your credit score, your credit report as zero. Trust me, settled zero. That's all you care about. Who cares about the credit score? It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is you get out of the negative. You go from the negative to the positive. So now you settle that $500 debt, which was at $500, it was placing you deeper under zero. You settled it for half the price for $250. You're that closer to zero. Okay. Don't worry about the other stuff. The other stuff makes absolutely no sense. His math is not adding up at all. Settle account zero, just like Herbert said, zero equals good. Okay. Don't worry about no credit score. All right. Just that right there. Let me tell you something. Okay. This is not saying anything negative about this man. That's debt speak. When you worry less about debt and you worry more about your credit score, that's debt speak. That's debt talk. Only people in debt talk like that. Okay, get out of debt.
And so it had less impact because let's say you've been rebuilding your credit score with in between that time.
What's up, Bill Wills, Jennifer?
What you don't know,
what's up, Mark?
Hurt you because I've seen this happen a lot of times. I actually had a client who had got an inheritance and went off and paid about $15,000 worth of her debt that was in collections, charge-offs, and everything like that, and her score dropped tremendously.
So,
and I mean, she was distraught. She was trying to purchase a house. She didn't know what to do.
What?
And ultimately, because she didn't have access to this information.
Oh,
so another reason why.
All right, he's starting to speak debt. He's starting to speak debt. Here's a woman that did exactly what she was supposed to do. She inherited money and she paid off her debt. Now she was upset because her credit score, because her credit dropped and she was trying to get a house. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. That's debt speak. Paying off debt, you should be very, very, very happy. Very happy. Very happy. That woman, whoever this woman is he's talking about, she did exactly what she was supposed to do. Pay off that debt. Get out of debt. Remember, add up all your savings. Add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. So if she got an inheritance, she's $15,000 closer to zero. All that matters is who's closer to zero. He's starting to speak debt. Okay? I want you guys to understand it. He's saying things that don't make mathematical sense. You don't supposed to feel bad because you paid off debt and your credit. Who cares about your credit score dropping? You are out of debt.
I tell people you want to go out and purchase that book, not just because I'm trying to plug it because it's my book, but all this information is in there. You know, I get people all the time that reach out to me and say, hey, I got a $5.
When he talks like this, I want to know what his personal credit report looks like. As soon as he says things like this, because I'm going to tell you guys something. Those of us that are financially free with zero debt, We never advocate debt. Never. There is no reason for it, especially personally, not business side. I'm talking personal side. Because this is getting, boy. Okay, let me let him finish.
5-minute question. Can you hop on the phone with me? And trust me, I would love to speak with each and one of you every single day. But right now I don't have the capacity. But every question that you may have about credit is in that book. So make sure that you go out and purchase that book. I'm trying to, let's make it one of the top selling books for infinite amount of time. It literally being the mecca of
fast forward.
Inheritance for over 15.
All right, let me go back.
Pay election account. Like I mentioned, this situation where she got an inheritance for over $15,000. She went and paid about $15,000 of her debt off, and her credit score dropped. So paying a collection $15,000.
Sorry, I'm going back. I want to rehear this.
For over $15,000. She went and paid about $15,000 of her debt off, and her credit score dropped.
Okay, listen. See what she did? She was negative $15,000 in the hole. That means under zero. $15,000 under zero. She got an inheritance of $15,000. Now she's at zero. She's out of the red. She's in the black. All right. Who cares about a credit score dropping? That means absolutely nothing outside the debt matrix. Who cares? Her credit now, for those of you that don't understand why her credit score dropped, this is why the credit score dropped. Because the banks don't like you paying off debt. They love to continue to make money off of you. So they think it's a penalty or something to drop your score if you pay your debt off. They're mad. They drop your score because they're mad. They're not making any more money off of you. So they're going to drop your score. There's ways to get it up. Go check out my credit score on Facebook. Debt Ain't My Daddy. Go look at it. And that's done with one credit card, paid in full every single month. Okay? Paid in full every single month.
So paying a collection account off can drop your credit score, especially if it's been default. Excuse me.
And I'm with you, Mark. Mark says 15K out and free. Peace credit score. I'm out. Exactly. You guys, get out of the debt matrix. Credit is a tool. It's nothing more. It's not a need. If you start now, check out. I want you to pay attention to what he said in that video. Hey, she paid off $15,000 and she felt bad because her credit. See, there they go, entering feelings again. Feelings do not matter when it comes to finances. Those are feelings. Feelings will mess you up. She feels bad that her credit score dropped. So if she would have listened to what he said, because he said, hey, if she would have came here and bought my book or whatever, right? If she would have read his book or whatever information that he offered and decided not to do that because of how she felt about her credit score, she'd still be in debt today. She'd still be in debt, paying interest payments on money she could have got rid of.
If it's been less impactful from your file or on your credit profile for an amount of years, because the last thing you don't want to happen, which I've seen this, is, typically the debt can only sit on your credit report for 7 years from the last date of activity. All right. Now, does it always come off right at the 7-year mark? No. And I talk to people all the time, I'll just wait till 7 years and it'll fall off. That's a myth.
Don't ever do that. He's right. That's a myth. Don't worry about debts falling off in 7 years. People that say that, next time, if somebody in your circle says that, hey, man, I'm just waiting for the debt to fall off, I want you to ask them, hey, man, when's the last time you looked at your credit report? See what they say. Okay, these are questions that you ask people in debt. Say, hey, when's the last time you looked at your credit report? Here's another one. Hey, what tax bracket are you? What tax bracket are you? They won't even know. Or say, how much debt are you in? They won't even know. People like that are the ones that say things like that.
It doesn't always just fall off. Sometimes you have to dispute that information. So, which the Credit is King book has some sample letters in there too, just the FYI. So I've seen scenarios where the debt is 11 months old. They go through, do a settlement offer, paid $250 on a $500 credit card. Not only did their score drop, but now that debt can report for another 7 years on the report because they didn't fulfill the payment.
And as long as that report's zero, that's all you care about, okay? Don't worry about anything else. As long as that report reports as zero, okay? Whoever's closer to zero is the winner.
Arrangement with that account. So you want to be cognizant of all these different things, again, because what you don't know can hurt you. Or the last thing you want to do is, which I've seen this happen before too, you're getting ready to purchase a house, you're at the closing table, and then a collection account pops up. You know, I actually had a library bill from 1998 pop up. You know, well, first of all, they sent me a letter. This was about 4 or 5 years ago, and they couldn't put it on.
I'm gonna tell you guys something, okay? People that manage money well never have surprises like that. We don't have surprises like that because we know exactly what we have out there. I won't walk up to the table and there be a surprise, okay? I won't. It will not happen. When I go get a mortgage, I'm not crossing my fingers hoping that I will get it. I'm going to the bank to say if I'm going to get it from this bank or not. That's it. That's all the choice. And trust me, when you walk in the bank and your credit report looks like mine, the bank knows I know. So they wouldn't dare insult me with anything less than the best top rate conventional mortgage that they have to offer. They wouldn't even come at me. That would be an insult. So like I said, I would never be at the table and some kind of old debt pops up out of nowhere. If it pops up, that means the bank's found it somewhere. You have access to the same information they have. So you can look on the same and say, oh, okay, there it is. No, there's no surprises. That's only for people either in debt or don't manage their money well.
My credit, because I mean, the debt was over 15 plus years old or somewhere within that time frame. So again, these companies will try to scare you, but again, because everyone who was
what did he say he had? What did he say he had?
Bill from 1998. Credit card. Not only did their score drop, but now that debt can report for another 7 years on the report because they didn't fulfill the payment arrangement with that account. So you want to be cognizant of all these different things, again, because what you don't know can hurt you. Or the last thing you want to do is, which I've seen this happen before too, you're getting ready to purchase a house, you're at the closing table, and then a collection account pops up. You know, I actually had a library bill from 1998 pop up. You know, well, they sent me a letter. This was about 4 or 5 years ago, and they couldn't put it on my credit because I mean, the debt was over 15 plus years old or somewhere within that time frame. So again, these companies will try to scare you, but again, because everyone who is on this live or you know, on Instagram or whatever, watching the YouTube video, knows this information like the back of their hand, you don't fall for those tricks, you know. So because these companies will try to trick you. So you don't want to just pay the collection account because, one, you run the risk of the statute of limitations reoccurring. You run the risk of the time it can report on your credit report.
Once you settle your debt, it can never reoccur because it no longer exists. So settle your debt for half the price. Do not care about your credit score.
You run the risk of your credit score dropping. You run the risk of you just being out of $15,000 worth of collection accounts that you paid off that had no impact to your profile, which is why it's important. No matter
what did you just say?
Time it can report on your credit report.
What did you just say about that 15,000?
Credit score dropping. You run the risk of you just being out of $15,000 worth of collection accounts that you paid off.
What?
That had no.
Okay, he's looking at the woman that paid her debt off, talking about she's out of $15,000. Before she got the inheritance, she was already out of $15,000 because she was $15,000 in the negative. So by her paying that off, she's not out of $15,000. She's out of debt. She's at zero. That's not, see how right now, I want you guys to pay close attention to this. He's entering his feelings about what she did, paying off her debt. Those are his feelings about it. Okay. His feelings have nothing to do with mathematics. You take 15, negative 15 plus 15 is zero for 15,000. Negative 15,000 plus 15,000 is zero. Okay, she's out of the negative. Before she paid it off, she was $15,000 below zero. She pays it off. Now she's at zero. It was not a waste. She is free.
Impact to your profile, which is why it's important, no matter where your credit is or how damaged it is, you work on rebuilding it as well. So I'm going to give you guys a quick tip on what you should do if you have a collection account. So one of the things that I always recommend is you do what's called a pay for deletion.
What?
Essentially, a pay for deletion is, going back to the example, you have the $500 collection account that was with Visa. It's 5 years old. Oops. 5 years old, and it's with collection agency. Okay. Now, what you can do is you call up collection agency, and you never admit to the debt. Couple reasons why. One is you never want them to try to come back and use anything against you in court, especially if the debt is still within the statute of limitations. But more importantly, even though the debt is reporting on your credit report, they may not be reporting the information accurately. So the second option that I'm going to show you on how to handle collection accounts effectively is the reason why you never want to say, hey, it's mine. Yeah, granted, they may be, because keep in mind, they charge interest and penalties and different things. So this $500 may actually come out to $575.25. And if they're not reporting that down to the penny accurately, they can't report this information on your credit report. So I'm going to talk about that here shortly. But let's just say, for the sake of this example, $500 collection account, a pay for deletion, you call in the collection agency, and essentially you're saying, look, I don't even know if the debt is technically mine or, where you guys got it from. But all I know is I want to pay this account in full in lieu of you guys deleting it off my credit report. Now, in some states, you can actually go within your local city to that collection agency's office in person and pay that off. And then what happened is they'll give you a deletion letter right there on the spot. Out here in Las Vegas, we actually have a lot of collection agencies.
That's a lot of work, man. I mean, all these steps, that is a lot of work. Check it out. If it's your debt, if that debt is 5 years old, again, you just call them up and say, when you have the money, you say, hey, I got $250. Do you want it? If you don't, I'm going to go to the next collector on my list. If that debt has been in there 5 years, they are going to take it. You don't have to go anywhere. You just say, hey, you send me a letter. We're going to agree upon this. Either you're going to, when I pay you this money, you're going to take it off my credit report, or you're going to say it's at zero, whatever. You guys are going to come to an agreement. Make sure they email you that first, so you have it in writing. You give them the money, and then you be done with it. This is just, is making it more complicated than what it is, especially if it's your debt. If it's your debt, don't go through the whole scenario. Hey, this is mine. It's not mine. I don't want to say this word. I don't want to say. That's for people that are in debt, trying to get out of paying, getting out of, I don't know, whatever, right? It's just complex, right? Don't do all that. Just do what I'm telling you. You can skip all these steps.
That set up out here, which is why when I'm calling some of you guys, you don't answer my phone call because you think I'm a collection agency. But you go there and you give them the payment in full, and I always recommend either paying cash. Never give them your credit card or your checking account information.
That's true. Okay? That's
always
true.
Give cash.
I agree with that. Never give them your credit card or your checking account. Get a prepaid debit card.
Money order, cashier's check, prepaid credit card. But you never give them credit card or an actual check to your bank account. Couple reasons why. Let's say there's some additional debt lingering out there, because debt can sit out there for about 3 to 4 years before it even pops up on your credit report. So the last thing you want to do is you're with a collection agency and you pay this off, you give them a credit card, and something else pops up out there. They now have your credit card and you giving them authorization.
This is what I teach you guys, okay? I organize your stuff as my clients, so there will be no stuff that pops up out of nowhere. Okay. I gather everything according to your credit report, right? We get that together. Everything's organized, so nothing will be surprising to you. Nothing. Okay.
To go and swipe that credit card for that amount. So never, ever, ever, ever give them a credit card or checking account information. If you have to go to your local drugstore and get a prepaid credit card, do that. If you're local, you can give them cash, which this is the least one I would do, because you always want to keep a paper trail, which is why I always prefer a money order, because you have a receipt with that money order or a cashier's check, you know. So that's how you want to deal with it. Now, if they don't give you the deletion letter, you don't pay it. Now, they may try to trip you up.
Now, those of you guys that are listening to this, check it out. Doesn't what he, I'm looking at Fred FVJ 75. The debt matrix makes everything so complicated, so ones who are asleep in the debt matrix to remain asleep. Exactly. Isn't what he's saying, doesn't that sound very complex? I mean, I know about money and debt, and I'm damn near falling asleep off all this extra steps that you don't really even need to worry about. It doesn't even make any sense. But hey, again, I'm not knocking his business. I'm just saying what he's saying doesn't make mathematical sense, because his feelings about a credit score. He made that very apparent by a woman, how he felt about a woman that paid off her $15,000 in debt. Now she is free.
And say, well, we'll give you a paid in full letter. No, you want a deletion letter. So you want to make sure that you're extremely explicit with your detail in requesting that deletion letter.
Now, I agree with that. If he says, if you pay that debt off and you can get them to give you a deletion letter, or they just do it, that'd be better, to have it paid off and totally removed from your credit report. I agree with that.
Now, also make sure that you do pay in full. The only way you can get the deletion letter is you do have to pay the dollar. You do have to pay this debt in full.
Wrong. Never mind. Forget the deletion letter. No. Nope. Forget the deletion letter. A 5-year-old debt, you are not paying $500. Don't do that. Nope. Don't do that. You're basically paying them to get rid of that off your credit report. Nope. Trust me. Let me tell you guys something, okay? If you walked in the bank, say like you cleared out all your debt and you had a whole bunch of collections and you paid them all off, right? And then you have a whole bunch of paid off collections on your credit report. I promise you this: if you walked into the bank with your debt amount at zero, everything's paid, and you walked into the bank with 60% of a house that you're trying to buy, I guarantee you they won't turn you down. You know why? They will know that you know, and this is why, so you can understand. Oh, excuse me. DTI is debt to income ratio. If you walk into the bank with no debt, the debt to income ratio does not apply to you, because why? You have no debt. You understand? Debt to income ratio only applies to those who are in debt. See, debt to income ratio. You will have no debt. The only thing you will have is income. So it doesn't apply to you because there is no ratio to compare with. See what I'm saying? Credit is a tool. Okay. Once you get out of debt, I'll help you build your credit. Don't worry about that part. That's the last part. Okay. Once you get out, it'll just build like it's nothing. You won't even try to build your credit. I personally don't even try to build my credit. I just use my credit card wherever I go. That's it. Nothing more than that. That's it. And then I pay it off in full every single month. That's it.
Full. If you do a settlement offer, you lose your leverage for the deletion letter. So essentially, the payment in full is your leverage. Keep in mind, they want to get this off the books just as much as you want to get it off your credit report. So a lot of times they will negotiate that with you to give you the deletion letter. Sometimes you do have those that play hardball. They act like you owe them personally, so they give you a hard time about a deletion letter. And if that's the case, you just politely hang up, call back in. I mean, it may take you 4 or 5 calls. But if for whatever reason they don't want to play ball, I just don't pay it. Or I recommend not paying it right away, which leads me to the second option, which is what my company does. We're very good at it.
Look at all these options, all these complicated options.
You want to dispute the debt.
Oh, man.
Disputing it. Now, disputing it isn't saying that, hey, this is not mine. I've never been late. Please remove. Basically, there are laws based upon the Fair Credit Reporting Act that give you and I as consumers, and for those on Instagram, you and I as consumers, the right to be able to dispute anything inaccurate, incomplete, and unverifiable.
Okay.
So if they can't validate or verify that debt down to the penny, they have to delete it off your credit report, no matter if you do owe it. That is one of the...
Yes, that is true. Okay, that's true. If you want to go through all that, cool, do that. Okay. But if you know it's your debt, don't take extra steps. Figure out how you can get. You can also pay it pennies on the dollar, half the price, whatever. Don't go through all that stuff when you know the debt is yours. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Dispute it only if you can look at it and say, hey, that wasn't me. That's the purpose of those laws. Okay, don't go and dispute something that you know for 100% is yours. All right, don't get out of those habits. If you want to build wealth, you got to get out of habits like that. Only people in debt dispute debts that they know are theirs. Okay, that doesn't make mathematical sense.
The legislation that was passed with the Fair Credit Reporting Act. A lot of us don't even know that that's possible. So we've had clients who've had $357,000 accounts, i.e. foreclosures, short sales, or whatever on their credit report. And because they didn't have the proper paperwork to provide valid documentation that they're reporting this accurately to the penny, they have to delete it. So when you're disputing, don't worry about the dollar amount. A dispute is a dispute is a dispute. It's irrelevant.
Good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. 357,000 that they're going. Good luck. Good luck with that.
You want to dispute it. Now, be careful about the different canned letters on the internet. You want to make sure that, you're not just taking something verbatim off the net, because keep in mind, usually something that's on the net, it's probably been recycled a million times. And what happens is these credit bureaus use a software by the name of eOscar, and the eOscar software recognizes that. And that's generally why you get auto-generated responses saying we're not going to validate your dispute. Sometimes they'll consider it a frivolous dispute and won't let you dispute it. So you always want to make sure that if you are going to pull something off the internet, that you're changing up the verbiage and all of that. Again, my Credit is King book has sample letters in there. If you're a part of the Wealth Mastery with us over at the Jay Morrison Academy, I have an entire, lessons, one in particular about disputing.
And one thing you got to be careful too. Say like it's close to that 7-year time mark, right? And you go in there and you dispute it, like what he's saying, right? You got to be very careful, because you might activate that clock over again. And when you're almost at the 7-year mark, you go and do some dispute mess like that, and it might start that clock all over again. Now it's going to be on your credit report for another 7 years. Okay, because at 7 years, you can say, hey, it's over. You can go in there and say that needs to be removed. That's over the 7 years. They'll remove it, and they'll take 30 days. But don't be going in there and disputing something that you know is yours. If it's in there 5 to 7 years, trust me, they will take half the money. They will be happy to get anything.
Sample letters and different things like that as well. So if you're going to dispute it, just make sure you dispute effectively. Now, with the effectiveness of disputing, make sure you do not, and I repeat, do not dispute online. Now, I know it's tempting. You logged into your Credit Karma, your score just jumped 40, 50 points, so you're excited. And then you go and you click on the link that says dispute online. You never want to dispute online, because, again, you're utilizing the same eOscar software. So essentially, you're trying to kill them with their poison. They're immune to it. So if you're going to dispute it, always dispute on paper. And, that's, one of the most effective ways. And because 70%, over 70% of credit reports have errors on them, you would be extremely surprised on the results that you can get just by a simple dispute letter. So hopefully this information was of value to you. again, my quest, my entire mission really is just to be able to give you guys this information.
Now, again, I'm not, okay, we're going to just stop it right there. I am not saying anything negative about this man, okay? I want you guys to understand this. But Born, and I get what you're saying. Let me bring Borns up here. Borns Rand says, to be fair, this guy and MJ are all about getting into so I get it. Just for just personal finances, I agree there's easier ways to do this. Now, Born, the only thing that I disagree with this man on is when he starts interjecting his feelings into money. He did that several times, and he's interjecting feelings and combining them with credit. Now he says, "Oh, a woman that inherited, she had $15,000 in debt, but she inherited $15,000. She shouldn't have paid that debt off. That doesn't make sense." Okay, mathematically, she has no choice to pay that debt off, right? It's like, say for example, she had $15,000 in debt, but she got let's say she got a $12,000 inheritance. Okay. Now, what is it? 12,000 minus 15,000 is negative 3,000. Negative 3,000. She would be negative in the hole. She would be negative 3,000 in the hole. She was at zero. And he's telling people to worry about your credit score. No, you worry about getting out of debt. All that other stuff will come back. And I thank you, Born. I agree. Thank you, man, because you never ever mix your feelings with your money. Now, again, I see him, Jay Morrison. I'm gonna go do some of Jay Morrison's videos too. But this guy too, a lot of the stuff he's saying, okay, he's just stating what is, okay, dispute, 7 years, collections. But no, to get a dispute letter, you want to pay the whole debt? No, especially after 5 years. No, the collectors didn't even pay the 500. So you want to pay the 500? No. They will take what you offer. Trust me. Derek F has a question. He said, I have a question. I have a $200 city secured card. Should I pay it off and cancel the card? Other unsecured card has more history, so it won't affect. Yes, never, ever, ever, ever get a secured credit card, ever. Don't ever do that. Now, I want you to listen to me closely, Derek, to what I'm saying, okay? In order for you to get a secured credit card, you have to first give them the $200 that you have in your hand already. You saved up $200 and you said, here, Citibank. Citibank takes it, and then they do a swap and give you plastic. Okay, now they take that $200 and they loan it out to how many ever people they want at any percentage rate. At the same time, they charge you a percentage rate on your own money that you just gave them. You just gave them that money. Now they're going to charge you a percentage rate. They're going to charge you to use your own money, while on the back end, they're charging other people to borrow your money too, because your $200 sits in there. You're just giving away money. Secured credit cards are for people that don't understand how money works, how it's managed. That's a win-win for the bank. They make money on the back end, and they make money from you on your own money, all for the privilege of them reporting to the 3 credit bureaus, hey, Derek paid us back his own money on time. That doesn't even make any sense. Don't ever get it. Close that secured credit card and keep only your unsecured credit card. Don't go get your money. Take it out, close it. Don't ever do that again. Bourne says it's difficult to start in real estate or some other industries without managing debt. Personal finance, I'm all for having no debt, but you need an LLC or other vehicle to maneuver the system. That is correct, Bourne. But the reason why I don't talk at that level, because the majority of people are in debt right now. They're below zero. So talking about it, that's why I never discuss anything outside of personal finances, because I don't even want to put people's vision that way when they haven't treated their own personal finances like a business. So this is why I ask Born. I tell people this that want to start a business. This is what I say to them. If your personal finances were your business today, would you still be in business? Meaning, if your finances are in the negative, the answer is no, you wouldn't be in business. That's the business you start with. Right there. Get that business going to its positive cash flow, and then you learn about outside of yourself business. But for right now, you learn and understand the business of you. Period. I'm going back and reading all your messages, Born. I'll say from personal experience in business, if you already have a home and a vehicle, then you can really go debt free. You also need a solid income, though. Are you talking about a paid off home and a paid off vehicle, Born? And you're right, Fred. They make the debt matrix so complicated, but it's not. It's not complicated at all. At all. Life for business. Get the likes up. 35 people in the building and 21 likes. Come on. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Life for Business. Much, much appreciated. Much appreciated. Derek F says, yeah, I'm going to do that tonight. Okay, good. Do that, man. Because you see how simplified I explain that to you? Now, and here I want you guys to understand something. When I say something to you guys, or I say something about a video that I'm critiquing, I'm not talking about the person. I'm only talking mathematics. I'm not saying the person's smart, dumb, whatever, because I don't know what he's doing business for. If I could see his personal credit report, I would know exactly why he's saying the things he's saying, why he's doing what he's doing. His personal credit report will tell me everything I need to know. And say like this, say like this man is in debt. Say like he's in debt. He needs to come see me. Because I can change his whole business. I can change his whole business. I can make him so brilliant in this money game, it'll quadruple his income. Because if he actually believes what he's saying about the 15,000, check it out, you guys. If he actually believes, and I'm mathematically speaking, so you guys can understand what I'm saying. If he really believes that that woman with the $15,000 shouldn't have paid off $15,000 in debt, I already know what his personal credit report looks like. Because people outside the debt matrix would never in a million years ever say that. Never say, oh, don't pay off that debt. Worry about your credit. No. People out of the debt matrix never say that. No. No. Never. That's the only thing that makes me want to. If he was in front of me and he said that to me, I would immediately ask to see his personal credit report right away. And I'm not talking about his credit score. I'm talking about his entire credit report, all three. You would never, ever, ever condone debt for just because your credit score dropped. So don't pay the $15,000 off. Hell no, don't ever do that. Black Knight says this is only complicated to people that are trying to create wealth using debt. Exactly, Black Knight. That kind of talk is for people that refuse to look at themselves as the cause of why they're not wealthy. It's got to be something else. It's got to be something outside of themselves that's going to make them wealthy. No, it's you. Every dime starts with you. If you start, check it out. If you start in the negative and you go to create a business, your whole financial situation is going to be off because you started under zero right here. None of the math at this point, none of the math is going to make sense. The only person the mathematical financial sense is going to make too is the bank, because you literally have to borrow every single dime to create whatever you're trying to create. How do I know this? Because if your personal finances are zero or under zero, you have no choice but to literally borrow the money. So say, for example, say you're $100,000 in student loan debt, right? And you saved up $10,000 to put into the stock market. Okay. And then you're thinking to yourself, I'll put this wise investment in here, and then I'll take the profits from that investment, and then I'll pay off the student loan. Okay, now we're going to talk about it mathematically. If you saved up $10,000, but you had $100,000 in student loan debt, you are negative $90,000 in the hole. Math says this, not me. Mathematics. Mathematics say you're negative $90,000 in the hole. So now, if you believe you have $10,000, which you don't, you have to literally borrow that $10,000 to invest into this magic mystery investment over here. But guess what you really did? You indirectly invested in that investment for the bank, not you, because you had to borrow the money because you're negative $90,000. Do you guys see what I'm doing? I'm not doing anything fancy. Trina Jackson says, your credit starts over every 7 years anyway, so why pay off collections? That's not true, Trina. That's so not true. That's not true. And by you saying that, right? By you saying that, now remember, this is the safe place, okay? I'm only going to give you mathematical responses. Only people, when's the last time you actually looked at your credit reports, Trina? All three of them. When's the last time you looked at it? Because only people that are in debt say things like that. That they're the only ones that say that. Now, this is not bashing you, Trina. I'm telling you what the majority of the people in the debt matrix say. They say things like that. Oh, it automatically falls off. So why pay your debt? It doesn't matter. But until that point, check it out. Because until that point of falling off, you're a slave. If you believe it falls off, which it doesn't, that's not true. That's not true. It's not like something automatically happens. Oh, it's 7 years. Click, remove. See what I'm saying? Don't ever say things like that because that's not true. That's not true. Uber guy says, is more income one of the most important things for debt freedom? Income will help you pay off your debt. That's the only, because a person's income doesn't matter. Unless you're paying off debt, great. But the more income you coming in, then you can pay it off. You're trying to get ahead. Only thing that matters is who's closer to zero. That's it. R. Carp says, can a person pay off debt from having a successful business they created? Yeah, that's possible. But R. Carp, I want you to understand something, though, okay? That's a hypothetical situation. Because this is what you're really saying mathematically. Take what you think is going to happen and just think about it mathematically. Before you start your business, this is what you do. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have to start a business. If that number is under zero, is in a negative, if that number is in a negative, which 85% of Americans are in debt, if that number is in a negative, you have to literally borrow money to start your business. Long as you're aware of it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm letting you know what is. Understand this. If your personal finances are in a negative, the bank knows that. So they're going to charge you accordingly. Okay. They're going to look at your debt, do your DTI, whatever you want to call it. They're going to say, oh, okay. Then they see if how much money they can squeeze out of you. And then they're going to loan you X amount of dollars. And then they're going, because if you don't know how to manage your own money, if you don't know you're under zero, you're going to naturally treat your business finances the same way you do your personal finances. You're not going to treat your business finances better than your personal finances. You're not going to do that. I promise you. The bank knows that too. You're not going to do that. You don't know anything else because your personal finances are showing exactly how you're going to treat the business finances. Anybody that I would go into business with, the first thing I'm going to ask is to see their personal credit report, all three. Trina Jackson says, I checked mine on Credit Karma yesterday. Cool. Okay. Nicer says, hit the like button, subscribe. Cool. Do that, please. Thank you, Nicer. All I'm saying is this, Trina. Do not believe the 7-year fall off thing. Okay. Just don't do that. Don't do that. Only people in debt talk like that. Only people in debt say things like that. Okay. Gabriel says, I'm 19 and not in debt with no job. Cool. You still living at home, Gabriel? And I'm not saying that in a bad way, okay? Herbert Scott said, I opened a Bank of America checking on my 18th birthday, overdraft and abandoned the account a few years later. Well, over 10 years after that, they still had account on file. 7 years is a myth. Exactly. That ain't going nowhere. That's not going anywhere. FVJ75, Fred says feelings mixed with math is just like someone saying 1 + 1 should equal 10. Exactly, Fred. If somebody said that, hey man, you know what? I really feel like if 1 + 1 equaled 10, I would have more on my paycheck. Everybody would look at you like you are crazy. Why you? They would look at you like, why are you even saying that? What is the purpose of you saying that? That makes absolutely no sense. That's what it sounds like when you mix your feelings with your money. It doesn't make sense. James Stokes said, I was told not to pay third-party collections. My question to you, James, who told you that? Because if you ask me, it'll be a whole different story. I don't care if it's third party, fourth party. I don't care who's in control of the debt. I'm going to settle it so it shows a 0 on my credit report. That's all I care about. I don't care if the collections, I messed up, whatever. Okay, I didn't pay a phone bill. All right, cool. I messed up. Now my mindset's different. How much do I owe? $1,000 5 years ago? No, I got 500. You gonna take it? Yeah, I know you are. Okay, boom. Make sure you report it as 0 before I pay you. Okay, get it in writing. Done. If you like my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Please hit that like button. Free 30-minute consultation. Let me get that right here. Free 30-minute consultation right there. Go to my website, hit the book consultation, set yourself up, whatever time, and then we'll talk, okay? Man, thank you guys for sending me these videos. I appreciate it, man. This is gonna change my whole channel. This is going to change my whole channel. And if you're a fan of anybody I critique, I want you guys to understand this, okay? I want to make sure it's clear. I'm not talking negative about the person's video that I critique. I'm only talking about mathematics. So if you come here and it sounds like I am, I want you to retract a little bit and say, but LJ's math is right. That makes sense. That's going to help you remove your feelings from what I'm saying. As long as my math is correct, remove your feelings. Neo says, it's been a while since I saw you live. Hey, welcome, man. I'm on here every day. It's twice today. You got lucky. Okay. Black Knight says, wealthy people don't use word possible when talking about business ventures. Exactly. They want to know the probability math of a particular outcome when it comes to money. Exactly. Black Knight, let me tell you something. Since I've become debt free, it is crystal freaking clear that there are 2 languages when it comes to money. Now, if you guys are new to my channel, I'm going to explain something to you that is very clear. I promise you this. If you've been in debt all your life, you only speak debt. You don't know you speak debt. I'm going to give you a few examples to kind of make something click in your head that you know that you're speaking debt. Now, if you finance a car and you believe you got a good interest rate, let me follow the math. If you finance a car, they go by your gross income. Money that doesn't even exist, you're not getting your gross income. So they're already starting you upside down in the car already, and you don't even know it. Now, since you don't have the money, that's the very reason why you're financing the car, because you don't have the cash to buy the car. Since you don't have the cash to buy the car and you're financing the car, guess what else you're financing? You're financing the taxes too. Because if you didn't have the money for the car, you damn sure ain't got the money for the taxes. So you're going to finance the taxes too. So now you're paying the taxes that you can see with your own eyes, the car plus the taxes, and then the taxes that you don't see. You can tax twice. The taxes that you don't see, because you're financing the taxes too. That's how to know you're in the debt matrix. Nobody really wants to pay taxes already, but every time you finance a car, hell, every time you finance anything, you're financing the taxes too. You're getting taxed twice. One you can see, and one it's phantom to you. Phantom income is only phantom to those who are in debt. That's why it's invisible to them, because it's mathematically impossible for them to see it. Snuggle says, I'm looking at your numbers, grown proud of you. Maybe the format you use might be key. It is the key. Snuggles, it is the key. You know how I know it's the key? Because now I know to use these titles that draw in people in debt. It's like putting bait on a hook. You know, and this is what it is. The titles are attractive to people that will believe that they can get something without using any money of their own. That's what attractive, because they don't have any money. People in debt don't have any money. People that are in debt, money, it doesn't exist for them. How do you know if this is you? If you're new to my channel and you're coming in and you're saying, what do you mean money doesn't exist? I got $1,000 in my pocket. Say like this is you. Okay. You got $1,000 cash in your pocket, but you have $50,000 in student loan debt. According to math, 1,000 minus 50,000 is negative 49,000. That $1,000 that you see in your hand does not exist. It's not really there. Yeah, I know you can go buy some shoes and some food and you can do it. Yeah, that's what you believe. But according to math, that's negative $49,000. It doesn't exist. But the majority of people cannot see that because it's phantom to them. Uber guy says, should I do a first-time home buyer loan? I might use that home as Airbnb rental property. Is that a good idea? Nope. This is what you do, Uber guy. Add up all your savings. I'm going to let you answer this question, Uber guy. Add up all your savings. Add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have for a house. Now you tell me, Uber guy, is that a good idea or a bad idea? You tell me. Gabriel says, always good take. I'm gonna wait for your answer, Uber guy. I want you to answer that question for me. You guys got some good questions. Any other questions? SMD family. This is, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Be part of the SMD family, the savings minus debt family. This is the place where you can come and you won't feel dumb about the financial mistakes that you've made. You can ask all kinds of questions. You can ask, and you won't be made to feel dumb if you don't know about, because if your finances are in the debt, are in the negative, if your finances are in the negative, you probably don't understand percentage rates, 20% of that, and PMI and all this garbage goop talk. You don't understand any of that. Oh, excuse me. SR says, isn't the first time home buyer program a subprime? It sure is. It's a subprime mortgage with a nice name. First time home buyers. First time, hey man, that's a feeling. First time home buyer, what's that got to do with mathematics? You go to the bank, if they offer you that, you go, hey, bank, what does first time home buyer got to do with mathematics? You go like this. If the bank offers you that, you go like this. Hey bank, can you do a side-by-side comparison with the best conventional mortgage on the market versus the first-time home buyer, and let see it with your own eyes and see if the stamp of first-time home buyer has anything would change your mind for the difference in pay you're going to be paying. Okay. SR says, nope, all the way out of there. Then nope, sure not. Subprime mortgage, no sir. Uber guy. That's Uber guy. That's why it's my website, savingsminusdebt.com. Go schedule your consultation, man. I'll change your life. Savingsminusdebt.com, right there. That's why it's my site. It will answer any question you have, Uber guy. Hey, you know what? I need a new car. Savings minus debt equals how much money I have for a new car. Is it in the negative? Yep. Then I can't get a new car. James Stokes says, what do you do if you got a car repo? What do you do if you got a car repo? My friend co-signed for his sister. He owed $33,000. Woo! Oh boy. What do you do if you got a car repo? My friend co-signed, and I'm assuming his sister didn't pay. Now he owes the balance of the car. First of all, that's why I would never co-sign for anybody on earth. Okay, that's number one. Listen, the bank is requiring that person to get a cosigner. Why? Because the person obviously doesn't manage money well. So if the bank turns them down and you decide to cosign for that person after the bank told them no, that's on you. That's why they're asking for a cosigner. Believe the banks. Hey, the bank turned me down for that loan, said I need a cosigner. There's got to be a reason. So nope, I'm going with the bank. But Uber guy, check it out. Uber guy says, my bad, was away from the phone. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But Uber guy, it's a horrible idea when I look at the numbers. Yes, that's how you ought to always look at the numbers. You got to always look at the numbers. Don't interject your feelings. If you're in the negative, accept that you're in the negative. SR says, you already know I'm going to say two times PMI for this guy. Exactly. Anybody that have an FHA mortgage, subprime mortgage, FHA especially, you have 2 PMIs, one up front and one through the life of the loan. That should be, SR said, that should be a jingle. SR said, don't ever put your name to someone else's credit. They will drag you down with them. That's why they need a cosigner. Exactly. Don't ever do that. I don't care if they get mad. So what? I'd rather have them mad than them owe me $33,000. Okay. I'll take them being mad. I can sleep better at night. Trina Jackson says, I had an opportunity to buy a 2-story home with 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and an alarm system for $60,000. And I did not get the home. I did not get the home. Should have I gotten the home? Same scenario, Trina, okay? Same scenario. Add up all your savings. Add up all your debt. Yes, including your student loans, if you have them. I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying in general in the room. Yes, including your student loans and your collections. And then go savings minus debt equals how much money you have for a house. Now you tell me, Trina, should have you gotten that home? You tell me. James Stokes says, car got stolen and she had no insurance. She never made the first payment. Oh my God. This is what I want to point out to you guys, so you guys understand that this debt business doesn't care if you're family, doesn't care if you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're a brain surgeon, you're a business owner. It doesn't care. People don't enter your feelings with your money ever. So now that dude and his sister, they're going to have a rocky relationship. Personally, I wouldn't pay $33,000 on something. I would probably file bankruptcy. I'll get Chapter 7 bankruptcy if he can get approved for it. If he can't get approved for a Chapter 7, he's screwed. He's screwed. He can probably settle for less than that. But oh man, that Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas time must be a very difficult time. Uber guy says, honestly, a lot of my decisions financially, I didn't stop and write down the numbers in 30. I work IT, about to study for cybersecurity and turn this around. I'm going to check out your site now. Yeah, go do that, man. I was in IT for 20 years before I quit. Okay. And my specialty was VMware. Okay. I did servers, VDI, connecting VDI servers globally, locally, whatever. So that's a good field to get into because you're going to be making some good money. Oh, yes. Ain't no mercy in the debt matrix. Exactly, Nicer. And you know what? Ain't nothing about mercy. To navigate the debt matrix or to get out of the debt matrix, all you got to do is trust mathematics. If you want to get out of the debt matrix, trust your own math. All right, you guys, we're going to cut this off. You guys have a wonderful day. That's 2 for the day. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Okay, Black Knight Trina should have taken that deal to someone that was debt free for 2% finder's fee. Probably so. If they would have, Black Knight, it counts on if Trina is debt free or not. I mean, I'm not gonna, if you're financially free, you're not gonna do something like that for a person that's in debt, because 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna pay you back the money. Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna do. Oh man, I had to do this. I ain't got time to be paying that. My kid's sick. I needed a car to get to work. People in debt make up so many different excuses of why not to pay you. It's just not even worth it. It's not even worth it. All right, you guys, car is only debt he has. Okay. Oh, James Stokes. I'm sorry. James Stokes says the car is the only debt he has. Ooh, that's $33,000 though, man. That is $33,000. Quinta said midnight edition. Hey, no, my girlfriend would kill me. I've been on here twice already. No. This is it for the day. Okay, you guys. This is it. All right, you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm out of here. Peace out. Keep those videos coming. Keep sending me those links, okay? Savings-debt.com for you guys to schedule your free 30-minute consultation. Let me know. You're welcome, Best Version. Hey, Best Version, keep them coming, man. I love it. I love it. This one was really good. All right, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Have a good Friday. Later.